Ever wondered what it's like to navigate love, faith, and a massive famine all at once? That's exactly the story of Isaac and Rebekah, a tale that's way more dramatic than you might remember. Let's dive into their journey through the land of Gerar, a story filled with secrets, divine promises, and some serious family drama. So, picture this. A severe famine hits the land, food is scarce, and everyone is scrambling. Isaac, following in his father Abraham's footsteps, is on the move with his family, looking for a place to survive. But God gives him a very specific instruction. Don't go down to Egypt. Stay in the land I tell you about. That land was Gerar, ruled by King Abimelech. This wasn't just a random travel plan. It was a test of faith. Would Isaac trust God's guidance, even when things looked bleak? Now, here's where the story takes a turn. Isaac arrives in Gerar with his wife Rebekah, who was incredibly beautiful, and Isaac gets scared. He thinks, the men of this place might kill me to get to Rebekah. So, he comes up with a plan, a pretty familiar one if you know his dad's story. He tells everyone that Rebekah is his sister. It was a strategic deception, a desperate attempt to protect himself in a foreign and potentially hostile land. He was operating out of fear, worried that Rebekah's beauty would put his own life in danger. This lie goes on for a while, and it seems to be working. But one day, King Abimelech happens to be looking out his window and sees Isaac and Rebekah together. And let's just say they weren't acting like a brother and sister. He saw Isaac affectionately caressing Rebekah, and the jig was up. Abimelech immediately calls Isaac in for a serious talk. He says, "She is your wife. Why did you say she is your sister?" It was a pivotal confrontation. Abimelech was rightfully upset, pointing out that one of his men could have unknowingly taken Rebekah, bringing guilt upon the whole kingdom. Isaac admits his fear, and Abimelech, instead of punishing him, issues a decree. Anyone who harms this man or his wife will be put to death. This moment is huge. It shows that even in the midst of Isaac's fear and deception, God's protective hand was still over him and his family. Divine providence was at work, turning a risky situation into one of security. With his safety now guaranteed, Isaac gets to work. He plants crops in Gerar, right in the middle of this terrible famine, and what happens? He reaps 100-fold in the same year. The Bible says the Lord blessed him, and Isaac became very wealthy. He accumulated flocks, herds, and a large household. His success was so staggering that the local Philistines in Gerar became incredibly envious of him. This agricultural miracle was more than just a lucky harvest. It was a powerful sign of God's faithfulness. It was a direct fulfillment of the promise God made to Isaac when he first arrived in Gerar. "Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and will bless you." Isaac's obedience in staying put, even when it was scary, was met with an overwhelming display of divine blessing. His prosperity in a time of scarcity was a loud and clear message to everyone, including King Abimelech, that God was with him. But with great success came great conflict. The local shepherds of Gerar started fighting with Isaac's shepherds over water. Water was life, especially during a famine, and the wells were a critical resource. Interestingly, Isaac didn't just dig new wells. He started by reopening the wells that his father Abraham had dug years before, which the Philistines had filled in after Abraham's death. This act of redigging his father's wells was deeply symbolic. It wasn't just about finding water. It was about reclaiming his heritage and continuing the legacy of faith his father had started. He even gave the wells the same names Abraham had given them. It was a powerful statement of identity and commitment to the covenant God had made with his family. The conflict over the wells escalated. They dug one well, and the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled over it, so Isaac named it Isaac, which means contention. They dug another, and they quarreled over that one too, so he named it Sitnah, meaning opposition. It was a tough time, full of strife and jealousy. But Isaac didn't give up. He moved on and dug another well, and this time no one quarreled over it. He named it Rehoboth, which means spaciousness or open spaces, saying, "Now the Lord has given us room and we will flourish in the land." This moment marked a turning point. It showed Isaac's perseverance and his unwavering trust that God would eventually make a way for him. Throughout all these trials, the famine, the lie about Rebekah, the envy of his neighbors, the fights over water, Isaac and Rebekah's bond remained strong. Their love and loyalty to each other are the quiet heartbeat of this entire narrative. Rebekah stood by Isaac, and his initial, albeit misguided, attempt to protect her showed his deep care for her. Their relationship endured these external pressures, demonstrating a resilience that was crucial for the future of their family line. Rebekah herself was a key player in this saga. Her role was vital for continuing the covenant lineage that started with Abraham. Her marriage to Isaac was the bridge that would carry God's promise to the next generation. Her faith, her cleverness, and her decisions were instrumental in shaping the destiny of their children, Jacob and Esau, and by extension, the entire nation of Israel. Eventually, the situation with the Philistines got so tense that Abimelech himself came to Isaac, along with his advisor and the commander of his army. But this time, it wasn't for a confrontation. It was to make peace. Abimelech said to Isaac, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you. Let us make a treaty with you. They saw Isaac's incredible prosperity, even after they had driven him away, and they recognized that he was blessed by God. This is a profound moment of conflict resolution. The very people who were envious and hostile toward Isaac were now seeking his favor and acknowledging his divine blessing. They ate and drank together and made a covenant of peace. This treaty not only secured Isaac's position but also served as a testament to how God's favor can turn enemies into allies. Isaac's time in Gerar was a crucible. It was a testing ground that forged his faith, tested his obedience, and ultimately strengthened his reliance on God. Every challenge, from the famine to the disputes over wells, reinforced the reality of God's unwavering faithfulness. The journey from scarcity to abundance, from conflict to peace, was a powerful lesson in trusting God's provision, even in the most uncertain times. This entire chapter of Isaac's life serves as a bridge, connecting the faith of his father, Abraham, to the future of his descendants. His journey from Gerar and eventually back toward the promised land of Canaan symbolizes his spiritual growth and his deepening trust in God's plan. It's a story that shows us that obedience amid trials strengthens not just our faith, but our relationships and our communities. Isaac's perseverance led to unexpected blessings, reminding us that trusting God in adversity can lead to outcomes far more abundant than we could ever imagine. The story of Isaac and Rebekah in Gerar is a beautiful, complex narrative about the realities of a life of faith. It's not always straightforward or easy. It involves fear, mistakes, and conflict. But it also involves incredible moments of divine intervention, blessing, and reconciliation. It's a timeless reminder that even in our own famines and foreign lands, faith, perseverance, and a little bit of help from above can see us through. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into incredible stories. See you in the next video and God bless.